necessary conditions to generate the power needed and at what price per kilowatt, optimizing his portfolio. Urquilla Wind Farm, 17 megawatts. Antoniana Mini Hydraulic Plant, 0.44 megawatts. Huascor Biomass Enviroil, 2 megawatts. Michelin, 35 megawatts. Let's imagine that it's 8 o'clock in the morning and the producers are sending the energy that the aggregator asked them to deliver in accordance with his forecast. Everything is going fine until at 10 a.m. the wind starts blowing harder than the weather forecast predicted. So the aggregator evaluates the situation and decides what producers he can ask to reduce their production to compensate for the extra wind energy in order to meet his commitments. With the Fenix project, no matter what the situation, it is possible to react immediately and adapt to new conditions. Tertiary reserve. One of the responsibilities of Red Eléctrica as transmission system operator is to predict the demand and determine a buffer margin that will guarantee the power supply should the real demand end up being greater or lesser than what was forecasted. This margin is made up of different power reserves with different answering response times. One of them is called the tertiary reserve. When Red Eléctrica observes that the deviations that are occurring are reducing the tertiary reserve and may create a hazardous situation, it asks electricity producers, including the aggregators, to increase or reduce their electricity production. The day ahead, the aggregator informs Red Eléctrica of the capacity of his producers to modify the power they produce, up or down, in 15 minutes. When the system needs tertiary reserve to recover the secondary reserve that is in use, Red Eléctrica uses the offers that were sent the day before. This reserve is of great value to avoid undesired consequences to the system, like load shedding. Voltage control. The voltage at the transmission grid nodes must be kept within certain margins at all times. This is controlled by Red Eléctrica, the transmission system operator, which requires Iberdrola, the distribution system operator, to maintain the flow of electricity necessary within those margins. The development of the Fenix project provides Iberdrola with new tools to optimize the available resources, including distributed generators.
We are convinced that the Fenix project is a good tool that will make it possible to integrate distributed generation on a large scale. We believe that this tool will facilitate its greater participation in the complementary services and therefore its improved support of the electrical system. Before, we had to work hard to maintain the supply of electricity within the parameters that Red Eléctrica required of us. Sometimes we've even been penalized when we weren't able to achieve that. Now with the Fenix project, we've got complete control.
Thanks to the Fenix project and the aggregators, the voltage can also be controlled in real time and with the highest level of coordination among all the actors involved. The way it works is simple. Red Eléctrica communicates directly with producers through the SECRE Center. It also communicates its decisions to the distributor, Iberdrola, about the flow levels that it should maintain so as not to surpass the established margins. Iberdrola communicates this information to the aggregator, who in turn selects the best producers to provide this service with all the guarantees. Contingencies. In rare circumstances, difficult and serious situations may arise that jeopardize the power supply and that must be resolved quickly to restore service as soon as possible. Let's imagine that a bird flies into the transformer at a power plant and causes a 1,000 megawatt shortfall. Then Red Eléctrica, which is ultimately responsible for the health of the national system, uses the tertiary reserve offers that were presented the day ahead to recover the secondary reserve that was instantaneously used to cover the 1,000 megawatt loss. The need of using the tertiary reserve implies that the aggregator has to provide energy as soon as possible. The aggregator reviews the forecasts and decides which producers will have to step in and inject more electricity to cover the shortfall and solve the problem in less than 15 minutes.
It's a good feeling to know that our work contributes to improving the country's electricity supply. This job, which we sometimes carry out under great pressure, is worthwhile because it directly affects the welfare of society.
In short, the Fenix project is a real and efficient solution to ensure control over the supply of electricity. It can organize a myriad of producers that are joining the system spread all over the distribution network, help to control energy flows and the voltage levels, and reduce the impact of any contingency. And he does all this with one objective in mind: the welfare of society in general and the satisfaction of each individual consumer. That is why we can say that the Fenix project is a true network of opportunities to enjoy a better and more sustainable future in Europe.